Today in the Woodyard, I'm on location. We're doing some tree reconnaissance. We're looking for dead trees to cut. Here we go. So today I'm on my way to go visit my dad, and I stopped on the way to a friend of mine's land. This is a place where I've cut a lot of wood before. This is my old best friend, Bill. You've never met him, but he owns about 90 some acres here in central Wisconsin. And I've cut a lot of dead oak trees that he's had. A lot of oak wilt is prevalent in this area, so there's a lot of dead and dying trees. And I've cut, I don't know how many trees here, 100 maybe, more, I don't know, a lot over the years. And at his cabin, where we do some deer hunting here at his cabin, and there used to be oak trees all over in this area right here. And unfortunately, that happened to all of them. This is what happens with oak wilt. It's a disease that I am told that is a fungal disease that's transferred from the roots system, and it spreads from tree to tree. And he's a lot of dead red oak is the tree that it really hits hard and kills. White oak it doesn't affect, bur oak it doesn't affect, but it does affect the red oaks. And you can see a bunch down in there too. There's one right here. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, right in this area here. And the big open area right in here, I actually cut a whole bunch of trees out of there. I probably cut a dozen trees out of this area already. I'll walk over there and see if we can see some of the spots where I've cut. See, like right here's a stump. That's one that I cut. I don't know where else. I know there's a bunch in here. I know I've cut probably a good 8 to 10 trees right in this area right in here already. But you can see there's a whole bunch more dead ones here. Lots of dead ones. Way down there, I didn't even see those. There's a whole bunch down there too. He told me there was a bunch more dead ones. So I've got trees to cut. And the reason I stopped is that he said there was more, and I wanted to see how many and if it was, worth coming to cut them. And it's definitely going to pay. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to walk around, because there's still leaves on the tree. It's September yet, and I want to find the trees that are either totally dead, like this one here, where the bark is coming off, or if there's trees like this one up over here. I'll walk over here. You can see this one. You can see this one right here. The leaves are dying on it. That one right there, that one's got oak wilt too, so that one's dying. So that's one that needs to go. So I brought a roll of tape, and I'm going to mark the ones now that I can tell are for sure dead. Not that you can't tell in the wintertime because the bark's coming off a lot, but there's some of them that are just dying. And if I'm going to be here cutting, I want to cut, all of them that are dead close together and be able to take them out. So when I buy truckloads of wood from John the logger, and I order barkless oak, this is what he's cutting right here, this stuff. And there's lots of it. You can see the bark comes off. Some of it's getting kind of punky already. This tree I know in particular has been dead now, I want to say 2 years for sure, maybe 3 years this one's been dead. And the problem is that it starts to actually rot on the outside. So you get a lot of the punkiness on the outside because it starts to rot. The inside is wet yet, so that stays pretty solid, but you want to get on them fairly soon. The other problem that happens with these trees that we've noticed, because we've done some work here where we've pushed some of them over that we're leaning towards the cabin with a tractor that his neighbor has. We used the bucket and pushed the trees over because we didn't really want to go through the work of roping, and then pulling with the truck. We just would push them over with the tractor. And what happens is after about 2 to 3 years, the root system starts to rot. And the whole root ball down there, none of the little roots are holding. All you got is just a little bit. So if you get a real high wind, these trees can easily come down, and they can obviously hit the cabin, which is right over here. So we cut down the bad ones that were right around the cabin already over the past few years. I haven't even cut here probably in almost a whole year now because I've been so busy cutting truckloads. But there's a lot of them here I see now that it's definitely going to pay to come and do this job. There's quite a few. And this is just the beginning. There's 90 some acres here I can look at. So we're going to walk around. I'm going to mark a bunch of them and get a count for how many trees there are. So yeah, this is the stuff that I get from John. And the bottom part of the tree, the trunk, all the way up probably till it gets down to probably like about 4 inches. It's still wet inside. And the tops, the small stuff, the 4-inch size stuff, is pretty dry up on top. So that's why I like actually cutting the trees like this, because you can get all the way down to like, you know, about the 2-3 inch size stuff like this, and it's good wood, and I take all of it. So you get a lot more wood by doing it this way versus buying the logs, because when you buy it from a logger, all they're taking is the stuff down to about 6 inches or so, and they're not any kind of branches going out, they're not taking any of that, they're leaving all that behind. So there's a lot of really good wood you can get from these trees. When I was cutting here, I would come early in the morning, and this was probably 2-3 winters ago. I'd come here early in the morning in the wintertime, and I would cut up, like anywhere from 6 to 10 trees. I would cut down, block them up. Then I would load up the trailer, and I would head back, you know, before dark. I would head back, dump it, and the next morning I would come back, load up the trailer right away with stuff that I had blocked up from the previous day. So that's ready to go. And then I would run back, because I'm probably about an hour from home right here, from my wood yard. And I would run back, dump it, and I would come back and I would cut a bunch more, and then about an hour before dark, I would load up the trailer again and then run back. So when I get the process going, I can cut 2 loads a day, and I can easily get 4 face cords into the trailer if I stack it in there. And the woods are fairly open, so I can pretty much drive pretty close to most of the spots. And if I can't, like right down in here, there's a kind of a low area. I can't back all the way in, and I'll back in as far as I can. And then I just got a big otter sled that I load it onto and pull it to it and throw it in there. Also, he's got an ATV that I can use. It's got a little dump trailer in the back, and I can fit about pretty close to like a half of a face cord of wood into that little trailer. So I take the ATV and we can ride around and basically do miniature logging, but it's all free wood. My only thing that I have to pay for is he wants to make sure that he stays supplied with firewood, and I'll show you his shed next. We'll go over there. So here's the cabin. It's just a nice little cabin. I think it's, if I remember right, it's a 20 by 24. It's got a loft. Upstairs is a fireplace. We got TV, running water, showers, everything. I mean, it's real nice. And so there's the little cabin. This is the tree right here that he's concerned about. This is his power box right here. And this oak right here, it's still alive, but there are some dead branches on it I can see up there, and he's worried about it. So this will be a tough one, because we got the cabin right there, got the power box right here, and his shed is right here. So if this is one that we're going to take down, it's going to be a tricky job. We'll have to pull it this direction if we do it. But I think that one's like the least of my worries, because it is a tree that's still alive. So we're gonna go around to the other side now. So here's this little lean-to that I built. I put this on for him on the side of his shed. I built this, I don't know, I think 3 years ago now. And the only rule that he has for me is that he wants to make sure that this stays full. So he always has wood to burn. And I think if I remember right, we can fit into here, as far as cords, I think we can get like 2.5 full cords in here because of how wide it is and how high we can go. And then he's just got some wood on the side here that needs to get stacked and put underneath the eaves there. So there's that. We're gonna go to the other side. And then this wood right here, I think we can get like just a little more than a full cord right here on this side also. And so it's kind of up underneath the eaves there. It's pretty much all oak, and you can see we got a lot of cleaning up and organizing to do. But there's a bunch of wood here, and that's all he wants to make sure, is that he's got enough wood that he said if the apocalypse there you go, I said it right. If that comes, he wants enough wood that he can live at his cabin here off the grid without having to worry about anything. So anyway, so there's the little wood supply that I have for him. Now we're gonna go out and we're gonna look at some trees. There's the first dead one right there, obviously. Like I said, there was a bunch of them all through here that I cut down. There was probably a good 6-7 of them right here that I cut, and you can see there's a stump right over here from one of the last ones that I cut down right there. But we pulled the stumps out from all this area before. So as I'm looking, I can see a dead tree right there. Here's a dead one. Right there is a dead one, and that one there is dying. And then of course there's all the ones down over here, down over by where his swampy area is on the edge. We're gonna walk down the trail here and just get an idea for a count of how many trees I can find. Okay, so this is a tree that I pointed out before, one that's dying. You can see the top is going on it, and it's got a little bit of live stuff down here in the bottom, but it's not gonna last much longer. Definitely is one, that's how they start to look like when they die. They start to lose all their leaves at the tops. You'll see bark starting to come off up on the branches up on top. And then when they get to be further along, I'll come over here, I'll show you when they get further along, this is what they look like over here. All the bark comes off, and then the branches start falling down, like how these little branches start coming down. So that's what they look like when they're really dead. And I'll give you an idea of the size of some of these. It's a very nice sized tree. It's pretty big. So a lot of good stuff like this in here. But then there's a lot of really good live trees in here too. There's maple, a lot of white oak, and a bunch of other stuff too. He's got birch. There's a lot of spruce trees, white spruce, stuff like that. It's got all kinds of them. So anyway, this is definitely one that's going to go. I'm going to walk over this way. There's another one I see over here. Here's another one down a little ways farther. It's dead. And we knew this was happening, and about, probably almost 10, at least 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, when the trees kind of started dying, I told Bill, we were talking, that what we need to do is to get trees planted that are going to fill in those areas. And if you look at these spruce trees that are here, these are white spruce. We planted all these. So we knew it was coming, so we started planting these, and we've been watering over the years when we first planted them. And I think we planted, I want to say we planted 500 trees 4 different times. And one of the years, like all the trees made it. It was really good. We had a really good planting. And then there was another year that we planted, and I bet we lost 90% of them. It was a drought year, and it was really bad. We lost a lot of trees. We planted them kind of up on a hilly area in the open in the back of his property. And I think of the 500, there might be 50 trees alive yet that made it. But they're super tough, and we have filled in since then. So yeah, we keep planting as we go. So I'm just kind of walking through the area here that we planted up, and then you can see there's a bunch more. This is from I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years ago we planted these smaller ones, but the bigger ones are taking off really nice now. As you can see, it's starting to look real pretty, and they're starting to fill in pretty good and grow. So I'm gonna walk back farther. Here's one right here that's a branch that broke off that is dead, and you can see this one's starting to die here. This half of the tree is dead right there, so that means this will die too. It's just a matter of time. We're gonna walk down over here. So far I've counted at least 20 trees that I can see that are dead, because I've started back over there, and then all these are out over here. We're gonna walk out here. So here's a whole bunch right here that are dead, and we're gonna walk down towards the swamp area. And again, we're just up front here. This is the first few acres. Like I said, he's got 90 acres in total, or 95. Look at those, are all dead. Those are the ones I showed you before. And see, another one here, this dead. So out there is dead. This one right here. This is a white oak in front of this red oak that's dead. You can see that red oak is dead. You can see there's 2 trees here actually. But the white oak is alive. And white oaks are not affected by the disease at all. But the red oak on the other side, definitely dead. You can see right here's a stump that was cut off. So there's stumps all over out there that I've cut trees from before too. But there's a bunch more that I've got to come in here and get. And this is definitely a winter job, because it's kind of a swampy low area here. So I like it once it freezes up to drive in here. Oh, we're gonna walk down here. There's a whole bunch more down this way. You see out here, a whole bunch of dead ones. So there's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, what, 12? No, there's one down there, 13. So there's a whole bunch more on this side. So I've already, and this one right here, I didn't even count that one, this big one right here. So I've already found 25 or so trees to take out. I'm gonna walk down farther and see if we can find some more. Okay, so I'm walking farther back in the property, and I came across another spot here where I see a couple dead trees. One is a white pine actually. This one right here is a white pine, but this oak right here is definitely dead. There's another one, and there's a couple out on that point I see. I'm gonna go down farther the other way. Okay, we're going farther in. Here's another one, another big dead one. And I remember this tree was still alive last year, because this is a spot where I've done some deer hunting, and I don't remember that tree being dead, because I noticed that stuff. Here's one that broke off and is dead, or died and then broke off. So this is definitely one that I get to take. That one's already on the ground. We'll come back this way farther. Here's one I can tell that's dying. This big one over here, you can see there's dead stuff up on the top up there. All the leaves are dying, and they shouldn't be dead yet. We still got another month or so of green leaves before they'll change color, because the oaks turn real late. So that one's dying. There's another one that's tipped over on the ground over here. That must have just tipped over not too long ago. I don't remember that being there before. Here's one that I cut up. This one right here tipped over a couple of years ago, and I remember cutting this one up. This was a pretty good sized one here. This is probably like a 24, 25-inch tree right here. Pretty big chunk of oak. Too bad there's a whole bunch of good wood there, but it's right on the ground. I didn't want to cut into the ground to get it, but yeah, you can see this one right here is tipped over, and that happened not too long ago, I can tell. So there's another one, and then right to the left there's a big white pine right here that's dead. So that needs to be cut up right away, because that doesn't last long at all. White pine doesn't last very long, and it starts to rot. Then looking down on the edge here, I can see another oak down there, and there's another one down there, and then another one past there. So I don't know what I'm up to. Got to be over 30 trees by now. So, and we're just getting started. Okay, we're in a different part of the property now. I've been walking for, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, and this is all maple. And this got flooded this spring, and I think these trees drowned. Oh, this one right here is an oak, but all these are maple trees that are dead. Nothing real big, but it's nice sized stuff as far as for firewood. I mean, this would be awesome to get this stuff cut. And I know he wants to cut, oh yeah, the whole swamp here is dead. I mean, if you can see going this way, these are all dead. Holy smokes. Wow. Yeah, they're all dead. They had a lot of rain here this spring, and he said this was all flooded. Must have killed them all off. I didn't even know that. So nothing real big here. I mean, there's a lot of them though, but boy, there's a lot of wood here. Holy smokes. A lot of wood here. So you can see by the size of these are, I don't know, 10, 12 inches. This one here, bigger one. There's a lot of small ones too though, but there is a lot of dead trees here. Okay, we're going to the next spot. Farther down in the corner, and this tree right here blew down. And this is a hard maple here. This one, that's a good one there. This is a good one. And then there's a bunch more here that are dead. So, wow. He's got lots of trees down. I'm in another area here, and this right here is a jack pine that's dead, and this is a pretty good sized one too. So this one's got to go, because this won't last long. This needs to be cut up fairly soon. And here's one I remember. This was dead a couple years ago, and it's pretty rotten now, so this will be no good. But we're gonna go back farther. And then one of the other ridges between swamps right now, here's a big oak that's dead. And then looking out into the next ridge over there, I can see at least a dozen dead oaks out there. I'll come around this way, see if I can get out farther so we can see out over that way. Let's get out of the woods here a little bit. You can see branches are breaking off here. These are all oak branches from trees like this. But looking out across this little swampy area here, you guys can see those, I'm sure. There's two real big ones. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, and I can see one background over that way, 7. And so yeah, there's a half a dozen on the next ridge. Trees everywhere that are dead. So I'm down another couple hundred yards from where I just was, and there's these two big monsters here. These are big ones here, nice oaks. I had cut some wood in here. Oh, there's another one back here, another dead one that just died. You can see there's leaves on it yet. And looking to the left over here, another backside here. This is all flooded maples. You can see there are a whole bunch of dead ones in here too. Some are still alive and some are dead. But looking back over that way, there's a whole bunch of dead ones in there too. So lots of them. So I'll show you over here. This is one of the spots I came into, oh, probably 2 years ago. And there was one tree in here. Well, it was a double. I'm gonna walk in here and just show you the stump. This particular double tree right here, when I cut it down, it was a hack job to try to get it to fall. But this stump right here, you can see by looking at my hand how big that is. And this side's even bigger. But these two right here, I got 5 full cords from these 2 trees. Actually, it was a little more than 5. It was like 5.5, but it was a lot. It was a very large tree, so that was a big one, and there's more of them. So then on the next ridge, I'm looking over there. You probably can't see it in the camera, but in the woods, I can see dead branches in there. So I'm not going to go over there because you got to go through the swamp to get across over there right now. But there's a bunch more over there too. So I just counted somewhere between 50 and 60 trees, and I'm just on the front half of the property. I haven't even gotten to the back or the way up front to the south side. That's where I'm going next. So here I am in one of the other sections, and this is kind of a swamp area. I'm not going to walk across and go over there, but I can see a big dead oak right there. There's 2 small ones over there, another one right there, and then 3 more in a cluster right there. And then you can't see it from the camera, but on the inside there, I can see one that's dead in there too. So I don't know, we're probably up to 60 trees by now. I'm gonna go to another spot. So we're on a different piece of the property now, and there's stumps all through here. I'm just gonna walk down through here. I cut off at least a dozen trees right on this little ridge right here because it's pretty easy to access, but you can see there's a stump over there, stump right here. There's one over there I can see peeking out a little bit. So right in this area here, I cut almost a dozen trees down, and looks like there's pretty good healthy ones here now. So that's the thing, is you almost, as soon as you get that oak wilt, you pretty much want to get rid of them as fast as you can. So you don't have the trees spreading the disease. But you're only supposed to cut the trees in the winter months. You're not supposed to cut them when they got leaves. Apparently it's not a good thing. So we're going to head down to another area. So this big opening area here used to be solid oak trees. You can see there's stumps here, stumps over there, there's a stump over there, stump there, stump right over there. I cut all these down probably 4 or 5 years ago now, and this is one of the areas that we tried to plant trees, but it's just kind of it's a hill here, so it's in a sandy soil, so it's pretty dry, and we had a real hard time getting trees to live here. We tried planting pines in here, so it's kind of just kind of an open area now. And so yeah, there's some stumps you can see sticking up here, over there, over there, over there's a bunch, and then down on this side, I remember I cut a whole bunch of trees. But the good thing is we got the trees out of here, and there's still some that are left, and these are far enough away from other trees. I think these oaks are going to be just fine because there's no diseased trees close to them at all anymore. So by getting the diseased ones out of here during the winter as fast as we could, because right in this area here, I probably cut 20, 25 trees at least. And by getting them out of here, I think it helps stop, the spread of the disease. So we're gonna go to a new spot. Okay, we're a couple ridges down now, and this is an area where I cut a lot of trees out. Back over here, it's pretty all open. I'll show you that in a little bit. That's where I did a lot of cutting, but I see there's one that just died this year here. You can see there's still got leaves on it, but they're brown. So this big one right here, that's a good one. That's probably a 5-6 face cords. So at least a cord and a half, almost 2 cords of wood. That's a big one. So that one's got to go real soon because there's good live trees around it. When I see one over here that's dead too. So they're just everywhere. So here's an area where I cut a lot of trees out. If you can see all the old stumps here. So this was all solid oaks, but you can see all the little pines we planted are all coming up. So you can see there's oak stumps all through here. And the trees we planted are doing really good. They're all taking off now, so that'll be nice. Lots of nice little spruces coming up. A lot of good growth on them, I see. You can see there's a stump there, stump here. And so yeah, spruces are coming up pretty good. There goes the turkey, look at that. Oh, a couple of them. 3, 4, 5, turkeys everywhere. It's a turkey fest. They were just laying right here by this stump. So right there's another stump. And where the turkeys are running, there's stumps all through there too. So, yeah, this was all a really nice, thick oak stand right through here on this ridge. But the trees we planted are doing really good. If you look back, you can see all the green blobs, all the spruce trees growing up. So that's really nice, really nice. So we're walking down one of his other roads he's got going on the backside, and you can see there's a big white pine back in there that's dead. I'm pretty sure that's because it was in a low spot and that got flooded this year, and I think that's why it's dead, which normally doesn't happen. That tree was there for a long time. But just looking down the trail here, I can see one straight ahead. There's an oak that's dead, and I can see one off to this side. There's one in the woods right over here that's dead. And I see this white pine right here. It's live on top, but look at the bark. The bark's all starting to come off here. You can see it's all, this whole tree is gonna die. This whole cluster right here will be dead too. And there's another oak back there. There's another one back there. I can see that's dead. Right in there. And then this one, of course, I pointed out. Oh, and there's one over here I pointed out before. There's two of them right there. There's two oaks right here, one there and one there. Those are both dead. And then coming down this way, I can see there's another one there. Another one there, two more right here. Wow, there's a lot of dead trees. Look at them all. Yeah, one I can see back in the woods farther. There's some over there. So we're down the trail a little farther now, and look at this big boy here. That is not an oak. I think this is either some type of a maple, or possibly, maybe it's I remember seeing this when it was alive. I don't know what this is, but all the bark is coming off, as you can see. But that is a big boy. It's not an elm. It might be a maple. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But that's going to have to get cut up because it's going to start breaking off and coming down and getting rotten. So it looks pretty darn solid. That looks like some good wood there. And you can see by the size of it, looking at my hand here. If you look at my hand, that's a big tree. This is one of the open areas he's had for quite a while. We've always talked about planting crops in this area, which would be great because it's naturally just been open. And these trees were planted way before he bought the land. These are all white spruce in here. And they're naturally reseeding themselves, which is really cool. Coming up on another ridge here, and I can see there's a big opening. This used to be all trees standing in here, I remember. So there's a whole bunch of them that have gone down, I can see back there, but go around the other side. There's a whole bunch of dead oaks in here that used to be standing that I knew that were ready to be cut. I just haven't been back in here for quite a while. And there's one right here. And you can see there's some dead ones up in there. And I know there's a monster one right here somewhere. There it is. Right down this way. There's a real big one. We used to have a deer stand in one of these here. There's the ladder I can see. So here's the, oh yeah, it came down. So yeah, I used to have a deer stand in this tree right here. He shot a lot of deer out of. And so this whole tree is on the ground, and it's a big one. That's a 20-incher easy. But the only bad thing is I know there's nails in it. But this one next to it that's dead is a good one. So that's a possibility to cut. And then I see there's another smaller one next to it here. So yeah, there's some trees here to cut. So just by my rough count, not being super accurate, there's probably 70 oak trees that I've counted that I can cut. And there's probably a couple hundred maple trees that are anywhere from 10 inches down to, 4 or 5 inches on the small side in that one swamp. So there is a lot of trees here to cut on this property. And it's just a matter of me getting the time to do it. But I think this is one of those jobs that we're going to come on weekends and I will cut. And at night we'll just sit around in the cabin and talk smart and have some liquid refreshments. And then the next morning, get up again and do it all over again. And then just haul wood home. So kind of like a little vacation of cutting trees is what's going to happen. And I can see over there, there's 2 more oaks across over that way, and then another one over there, and another one over there. I'm coming up on one of his food plots right here. They planted a bunch of clover, if I remember right. And they got a game camera out here, so there is the food plot. This is one of their better spots for hunting too. They get a lot of deer here. This is basically a deer factory, and I can see there's tracks all through here. So very good. So there you go. We went for a long walk. I've been walking now for about an hour just looking at trees. So now I'm going to head back gonna go visit my dad now. So that's it for today, folks. Tomorrow, I think I'm gonna do some tree trimming at my dad's. That's the plan. And you should come back, it'll be fun. Between now and then, get outside, get cutting. Good night, Irene.